All right, so in today's quick tip tutorial, we're gonna again use Illustrator to demonstrate the align tool. So it's not until you actually select things that this tool will be available, but you'll see if I just go ahead and click and drag to select all these, you can see a variety of alignment tools. If this doesn't show up, make sure you're in the Essentials Classic workspace. And we can do a couple of nice things with this. For example, let's say instead of them just being kind of scattered around, maybe you want them all kind of um, flush on one side. So for example, instead of just having to like manually move these, you can hold shift until it kind of snaps and has that cyan. That can obviously be very tedious, but if you select this, you can kind of see all the different ways to align these. So let's say you want to align them all to the left, you click that, go ahead and undo that. If you want them to actually all align on a central axis, basically kind of taking their furthest distances and computes it that way, so they're all kind of symmetrical. Do it the other way. Um, so that's a kind of a nice way to do that. You can see that there's obviously a lot of different options. It really kind of depends on the kind of direction, and I'll show you some other options to do that. If you were to click here, then they're basically just going to group them all at the top. So again, you kind of have to be aware of how these things start to work. You can see too that there's some different spacing between some of these. Maybe you want them to all be equal distance. This is where you can use the actual distribution ones. So you can see that if I want to distribute them evenly that way, I can use it this. So now you can see they all have equal distances. This one does something, again, very similar. So you can do it that way as well. Another kind of interesting tip, instead of just having them all aligned to the right or left or wherever, maybe you want to kind of maintain their distances and just basically extend them all to be flush with one side. This is where, again, the direct selection tool becomes a little handy, right? If I were to click and drag and just make sure that I select the anchor points, you can tell that the anchors are actually selected because they're dark instead of hollow, or blue instead of white. If I have those selected, I can actually align the points and not just the object. So let's try this now. So now you can see you kind of create that bar chart by just having the anchor points, and you can do that on either end too, right? So you can start to do it kind of like that. It's again one of those nice things if you want to align them to a certain direction. If you want to align them to the shortest distance, you can actually even do it that way. So it becomes really handy in that sense. And then once you do that, you can even do it that way. Then you can even kind of click and drag them that. So this is where, again, kind of the alignment and that direct selection tool become really handy. Other things that might be a little more applicable is for like creating legends and keys and stuff. So I'll just quickly do shift and create a rectangle. And I'm just gonna give it some different fill colors to kind of show you. So I'm just gonna hold Alt on my keyboard to make a copy. I'm just gonna have them kind of all over the place as well, just to kind of help you understand those things. So I'll just quickly create some different colors so we understand that. So again, this is where maybe those other tools come in handy when you have some volume and other dimensions, where you can kind of just align them that way, and now you can evenly distribute them this way. So this is kind of a nice, easy trick to create those legends so that everything kind of aligns nicely. They're all kind of evenly distributed. So utilize that alignment tool to kind of really organize some of your objects on your canvas space.